We speak to Department of Basic Education spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga, who joins us now in the studio. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us here in the studio, Elijah. So, as we're just listening to those statistics, it sounds like quite a huge number of matric learners were impacted by load shedding and the resultant disruptions, but according to the figures that we heard there, just 14 learners have to rewrite. Is that still the final count?
Yes, good evening, Tapi. So yes, insofar as CAT and IT is concerned, it's those 14 learners in that one school in Tshwane West. The others were affected, but they were able to recover the work that they'd already done. That's why there's no need for them to do it again.
I mean, I know in the briefing to highlight the preparedness of the department, the minister had said where there is load shedding and the possibility of disruption, the department will make sure to work around the scheduling. So in this case, what happened?
Well, in this case, they had a generator in the school, so they could proceed like all other schools that had generators. So what happened, there was basically a mechanical fault or an electrical fault, because the generator, when it was supposed to work, it seems that it had more power than necessary, and all those 14 computers were damaged. So there they could have proceeded even within the load shedding schedule, but due to the issues beyond their control, things just went haywire.
Okay, so what happens should this occur again? Because I'd imagine that this is a very nerve-wracking time for students as it is, and to experience this, that would make it even worse. And some, I'd imagine, would even think would impact on their performance. So what plans are in place to prevent this from happening further?
Well, insofar as the electricity is concerned, it's no longer an issue now, because those two subjects are the ones that needed the power supply to be there for the subjects to be done. But we've since gone beyond that now. We are doing subjects that don't require any electricity, so it's pen to paper, and natural light is sufficient for us to continue. So
and that's assuming that there is natural light, given the fact that we are in the rainy season. We've seen rain disrupting, particularly in KwaZulu-Natal, some writing. So, I mean, this is the best case scenario, isn't it, that there is natural light? But I just want to understand, how prepared are you?
No, the rain only causes disruptions insofar as accessibility to the exam center is concerned, the transportation of the papers. But the actual writing, the rain has never had an impact on that. So we are not worried. But the point that we're trying to make today was that there is just so much that is happening around this examination affecting learners. You are correct, it's nerve-wracking. We don't want any more additional stress on the learners. So it's the rain, it's the power surge, it's load shedding, but also community protests with some shooting taking place. All of these things, they add on top of what already COVID-19 has caused on the learners in terms of the impact of it in the past 2 to 3 years. So we don't want any more stress. So we are appealing to people, that which we can control, let's work together to control it. Those things that are beyond our control, then the system provides for such eventualities.
And in terms of those community protests that you mentioned that have disrupted some schools, I believe the Army and Intelligence are being recruited to help in preventing this. Do you have faith?
Yeah, well, they are always part of the examination system. So we report to them. They actually tell us what the situation is looking like in terms of the hotspots and what we could possibly do. But at the end of the day, it's the people that really need to think about the future of their children and what they wish to see happening in those communities. Because if as a community you decide to block the road for learners to fail to access the exam center, it means that they will not be able to write. And if they cannot write, it's your own children that will be affected. Some of them are looking to education to get out of poverty, and that gets delayed. And we cannot afford that. That's why we are saying to members of the community, let's work together, protect the future of our children, and make sure that the examination as a whole is insulated from all these disruptions that are taking place.
All right. Just looking back at day one, for instance, there were allegations that there was a shortage of papers delivered to school, and some started writing an hour later or so because of a late delivery or shortages. Speak to me about those kinks in the system. Have they been dealt with?
Yeah, those are provided for in the regulations. That's why you see there's a delay that's acceptable, which learners can still be allowed to write, and there's one that is not acceptable. If it's more than an hour, then it becomes a problem. Yes, those delays were there, but they were dealt with speedily, and no compromise took place there, and everyone was able to write on day one. It's a big paper, it's English. It really tests the strength of the system in all four corners, because it requires technology, it requires human beings to be there in the system, but also when there's load shedding, there would be delays on the roads because of the traffic congestion. So there's a lot that we go through just to manage the system. That's why we became a little bit nervous when we saw a whole lot of things happening just in this week, and we felt we needed to appeal to South Africans to help us deal with this situation, so that which we are able to control, we are indeed able to manage, but things that are beyond our control, then we need other people to work with us in resolving those issues.
And the state of mind of those who are writing matric, I mean, we've already mentioned the myriad issues confronting them that are current. There's also the fallout from COVID-19, how that disrupted teaching and learning. And this is the first time really that matriculants, and these are the matriculants, I believe, that were severely impacted by COVID-19. What feedback are you getting, and how well prepared were they for this paper?
Well, we started preparing for this way back in 2020 when COVID happened, because we knew that with the crisis, when they didn't finish the curriculum, we knew that it was going to impact on their workload for 2021. So we supported them throughout that year. And we are here now, 2022. We started early. We took them through camps and other additional tuition opportunities to make sure that they're able to finish, because that's the first thing that we must be able to do. Curriculum coverage at 100%, for grade 12 in particular. So we were able to do that, and we gave them enough time to revise. Most schools, if not all, by August, they were already done. So since then, it's been revision. We've been going to the camps to find out from them how they're feeling, state of mind, mental preparedness, and all of that. And we got feedback that some were ready, others were affected. But also the teachers, I mean, when they did the trial exams, there was an indication that there were certain weaknesses because they had not experienced a full-on exam since 2020. So the last exam they had done really was at the end of 2019 when they passed grade 9. So clearly there was going to be some impact, but we continue to work with them. In fact, those camps continue even today. They will remain in place until the end of the examination. So we hope that that particular program to support them is assisting to take care of their needs mentally, physically, and otherwise.
And crib notes, we know there have been 1 or 2 incidents that have been reported of that. How widespread, and I know it's a contradiction in terms even by my saying that, but I mean, we may have seen only a few reports, but you know of the occurrence, whether or not it's been significant or not.
Well, it's not 1 or 2, it's actually disturbing, but every day with every paper there would be someone who would have tried to bring in crib notes into the exam center. Not just crib notes, cell phones as well. Well, sometimes it's deliberate, sometimes they also forget, but we are saying to them, be aware of yourself. What are you carrying as you walk into the exam center? So we are saying, please stay away from bringing crib notes, because the fact that we're reporting, it means that we got those who were trying to undermine the system. So please don't do that, because it will get you into trouble. We will investigate you, and it could delay the release of your results. So it's completely unnecessary. If you feel underprepared, talk to your teachers, they will help you. They're always there. We spoke to them, and they are on standby to assist any learner who's facing challenges.
No lead
in
paper
any
as
area.
yet.
Don't say as yet as if we're expecting one.
Well,
we don't
unfortunately,
expect.
we hope not, but unfortunately every year there's a report, isn't there?
Yeah, well, no, we haven't seen any reports. We hope things will remain the same, because we requested parents to sign commitment agreements that they would work with us to make sure that the exam is clean. The learners themselves, they signed the pledges to commit to a clean exam.
And we wish you all the best in that, and
Thank
others.
you so much.
Thank you so much. Elijah Mhlanga, Basic Education spokesperson in